click keeps skipping. There we go. So why does the commission system even exist? So before the one-man, one-vote ruling by the Supreme Court, Kentucky carved precincts and districts by geography, not by population. This led to some really wacky problems. Campbell County, you can look in history, I've seen this. Newport had most of the population, and then the bottom of the county had like 2,000 people. And they had equal representation. You had 25,000 people and 2,000 people with an equal say on the fiscal court, which is not right, obviously. So that's what caused the need for the commission style, was to try to balance that out, to try to level out the voice. This click is killing me. But Kentucky was sued by the federal government in the 70s and forced to redistrict by population as a result of the one-man, one-vote. The commission form of government solves a problem that no longer exists. We do it by population now. We do not do it by geography. Killing me. Okay, that was right. All right, so there are some arguments people make against magistrate. We know this, we've done this before. The first claim is that it's big government because you're adding more people to the fiscal court, right? Well, representative government is not big government, it's representative government. Big government happens when special interests get control of the county government, which is far easier with only three commissioners and a judge exec. And they start giving perks to their friends. Yeah. It happens in every county, even the ones with magistrate, but not so much in the magistrate. And if having representation is big government, I hate this line, because if having representation is big government, we should abolish Congress, elect a dictator, and call it done. That's small government? No, that's wrong. It'll cost more money. That's when they like to throw out. Now, the fiscal court does indeed set their own salaries, which is kind of goofy to begin with. And look, even in all this, switching from a commission to a magistrate or whatever, doesn't mean that, oh, well, we switched to magistrate, we're done, we don't have to watch anymore, we don't care anymore, we're all good. There is no silver bullet to stop or fix our problems. You'll still need to vote for people who's going to watch out for your wallet, right? And likewise in Frankfurt too. And you know, magistrates should run on reducing their own pay, because commissioners are considered full-time. That's the whole county-wide thing, they're full-time. Magistrates are considered part-time because they only represent a part of the district. By the way, our legislators are considered part-time too in Frankfurt. Yes. Actually, these guys, at the county level, that is actually a good point that is not in here. Commissioners are considered full-time employees. They get full-time employee benefits. Magistrates do not. Magistrates do not get health insurance, or it's an option, but as a full-time, they're required to pay in pension and to get health benefits. So that is an important thing that was not in here. All right, here we go. One of the ones we got was, it's for small counties. Anybody heard of a city called Bowling Green, Kentucky? Yes. Yeah. And Elizabethtown, everybody know Elizabethtown? Yeah, those little burgs in Kentucky, their counties operate under a magistrate form of government. Bath County, anybody know where Bath County is on a map? Yeah. I do too, but that's because I'm weird. And Breathitt County, anybody know where that is on a map? Yeah, those are small counties. They're tiny little counties, and they have a commission form of government. It's not about the size, it's about representation. So one of the ones we got was, we tried this in 2010 and it failed. We did. In Campbell County, we tried to do this in 2010. I couldn't believe when I looked this back up, it had been 7 years. And it lost about 55, we lost by 10 points.
Lost by 5 points.
Well, it's a 5-point swing, right? If we had swung. So what happened was, the big government crowd entertainingly used the big government argument. We did not really see that coming. And what really, I think, killed us more than anything was the last-minute robocall. They did a robocall. It was a very contentious election that year. That was a re-election for McConnell, as I recall. Maybe it was Rand. Either way, all the phones were consumed around the country because that was a big year, and so we couldn't respond in kind, and so we got shellacked, and we learned. Yes, sir?
I don't know if you're going to get into this, but are you going to talk at all about the relationship between taxing districts and this?
Well, the special taxing districts kind of live outside in their own
Well, that's
bubble.
what I'm trying to get at
Yeah.
is how am I supposed to control spending within.
Oh, I've got
the school.
plenty on that, but that is not in this presentation.
Come back.
That is
Come back.
definitely,
Come back.
we need some serious reform. Absolutely. So the point is now, we can win this issue. We know the talking points of the opposition. People know representation's a good thing, and we can use math and logic to justify the switch. But we now know their tactics. And to do that, we need a simple, consistent plan. So what I've done is I've put together an idea that we propose having a magistrate for every 22,500 people, or a fraction thereof. So after you go cross over, you get another. And the reason for this is that in Kentucky, there are 44,000 and change people per state house district. The idea here is to make this race smaller than the state house race. It is, to me, just unbelievable that it's more difficult to get elected to county government than state government. That makes no sense. So Boone County has 130,000 people. Using that math, they would get 6 magistrates. Campbell County has 92,500 people, again, 5 magistrates. Kenton County with 165,000 would be at 8, which 8 is, again, the maximum allowed by our Constitution today. We would try to keep things based around the existing cities, so any proposed map should be, and that's how this works, right? We try to keep it so that the people with the same interests have their guy or gal. We need their person, right, to contact if they have a problem. So if the city of, I'm going to say Newport, has an issue, they got somebody to go to. If the city of Cold Spring has an issue, they have someone to go to. Independence, someone to go to. Florence, someone to go to. So this is today, Northern Kentucky. We saw this earlier. And this is not exact, but roughly what it would look like if it was busted up the way I proposed. And you can see here that we've got some of the features. Since we're in Boone County, we'll go here. Here's Florence. Here's Union. Here up there at the top is Hebron. This is Burlington, I believe. Yeah, Burlington. And then you have the outskirts, right? And that's roughly broken down by population. It may not be exactly perfect because I did not have the exact population per precinct. Kenton County, same kind of thing. You have the inner core of Covington in purple there. You have the burbs in South Covington in yellow. You have some of the, we'll just say, nicer neighborhoods in Kenton County in pink, and then also in orange. You have some of the ones that bleed over into Boone in green, and then you have the South End, which the South End, if you know anything about Kenton County, the South End is definitely its own thing. And then Campbell County, again, Newport and Bellevue is a district. Dayton, unfortunately for them, got lumped in with Fort Thomas because that's how the math worked. You've got then the Highland Heights, Southgate, Wilder. You've got Cold Spring and Alexandria, and you've got the rest. That's just rough math, but that gives you an idea of how that would break down. That the person for Cold Spring and Alexandria, because those are pretty relatively similar people, would have a person that would represent them. Right?
You're overlaid on the precinct map there?
That is, yes.
In the area like which you got in Southern Campbell, for that person to get elected, it's going to take a lot more effort. He's got a lot bigger area, but the same number of people.
He would, and because of the disparity by population, right? As you're aware, Lloyd, the South End is not as heavily populated.
Yeah.
So, but on the other hand, you know, just like Southern Kenton, right? Southern Kenton, Southern Campbell, those folks are pretty similarly mindset, right? I mean, the folks that don't live they live in the country, not in the city or the suburbs.
Right now, when you're looking at it, people used to say, Fort Thomas, we had to carry